Basement Politics, Unfiltered. Season 2, finale. The Khader Konnection.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
Good evening. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on what time you're watching. I'm Freddy Vazquez, and this is Basement Politics Unfiltered. And tonight is the season finale. I won't do another podcast until I get back or we come back from the New Year break. Those of us who are on break anyway. And so I wanted to end this one out with just kind of talking about the podcast and myself and just what's been the word on the street. I got some interesting phone calls today, actually. And, it's good, positive and negative. But I did get phone calls in regards to, the talk around the town. People are talking about Freddy Vazquez and basement politics. So I wanted to talk about that and something specifically. So I titled this episode "The Khader Konnection." Oh wait, that was the wrong sound effect. Anyway, so the Khader Konnection. Why did I title that? Well, it stems from the talk around the town regarding my connection to the Khader family, specifically a gentleman by the name of Johnny Khader, aka Johnny Limo. Does anybody know that guy? Anyone familiar with him? He owns a company called Top Class Limousine, located there on Ashburton Avenue, and he's been in this in the community for a very long time. I mean, since I was a kid, I would see the limos on Buena Vista Avenue. So he's been around. His business has been around. Very successful guy, and he's been involved in politics, as many know. And his brother is Mike Khader, the city council president here in Yonkers. So yeah, he's very active, and he's very well known. He has an organization called MPAC, Mediterranean People and Communities, not Political Action Committee, which many PACs are. And he does a lot. He does a lot in the community. He supports a lot of political candidates. Recently he was supporting a lot of the judges. So, he's known. He's well known. He's very involved. And now, since doing my podcast, Basement Politics, and in covering some of the topics that I've been covering and discussing here on the show, people have now started. Well, some people have started to wonder: are the Khaders funding Freddy Vazquez? What does that mean, funding Freddy Vazquez? I don't even know exactly what does that mean. In which way? Are they paying me to do this podcast? Could that be the reason why I turned down the opportunity to earn money via advertisements for the city. Um, am I being used as a weapon to go after certain people, specifically people who attacked the Khaders during the primaries? What do you think? What do you think? I want to know what you think. Got 3 people here. One of you 3 people, tell me what you think. And by the way, my show doesn't get a lot of people live, but people watch. People are talking. And I seem to be a target now, a real target. People are watching my post very carefully and analyzing everything that I put up. Recently, I posted the theme song to Freddy Krueger, and apparently that got some people concerned. And so it was sent over to the Yonkers Voice, Ruros, and they said, "Hey, what's up with this guy, Freddy Vazquez? Is he, okay? Is something wrong with him? Maybe." But the post was simply a Freddy Krueger theme song. And it went 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your doors. Although I did edit that part and said 3, 4, better help the poor. And the hashtags I use apparently also caused a stir. I put hashtag MI6, hashtag Mossad. I don't know the other hashtags, but those are the ones that caused a stir. Specifically the MI6. Does anyone know what MI6 is? Well, MI6 is the intelligence agency for the United Kingdom. It's a British intelligence agency. Mossad is the Israeli intelligence agency, and they're the equivalent to the United States CIA. You know that? Well, apparently they thought I was making reference to an M16, which is an assault rifle. Well, unless you can't tell the difference between an I and a 1, I can see how you might make that mistake innocently. The point is that this is part of the narrative that they are trying to create. I hope you don't think I am crazy. Maybe. But this is the narrative that they're trying to create. The narrative that Freddy is crazy, doesn't know what he's talking about, is aggressive, possibly violent, unstable. Look, if that were the case, then I'd probably have police record, which I don't. Never been arrested. Never had a history of violence. Never. Workplace, never. Never. I don't want to say I'm a perfect person, because I'm not, but you're not going to find anything that's going to be like, oh my God. Why? Because I come from an environment that happens to people all too often. That is the case. They do have police records. They have become violent. And I've tried to steer, for the most part, my life in a different direction. Now, I'm not perfect. Absolutely, I've made plenty of mistakes. Plenty of mistakes. And I will be the first to correct my mistakes. And I think I have on the show. But I wanted to mention this because in speaking to people in the community, and these are relevant people in the community, successful people involved in our city government. In talking with these individuals, it seems like this is what the narrative they're trying to perpetuate. And there may be some articles coming out potentially after January referencing John Khader and potentially referencing me, Freddy Vazquez. In what capacity? I'm not sure. Possibly that he may be supporting me financially through his MPAC organization, I'm imagining. Well, I couldn't read the article because unless you subscribe to the Yonkers Tribune, you can't see the article. People have seen it, people are talking. Abusing the system only in Yonkers. Let's not be so naive. Has John Khader indicted himself by his own conduct? The Hesitorial, Yonkers, New York, December 27th, 2021. COVID-19, no matter the variant, is recognized to have undermined the capacity of disparate societies and businesses to engage in practices once considered to be prudent, efficient, and yes, lauded as this article requires a subscription. I'm not sure why I am the focus of Mr. Hezi, or even John Khader is the focus of Hezi from the Yonkers Tribune. Although I can possibly understand why or know why. And very recently, a judge ruled that he was not a legitimate news source. You cannot get your information. Am I a legitimate news source? I'm not claiming to be one. I simply share information from what I believe to be credible and verified news sources. I speak on local politics and I give many times my opinions, but I will let you know that they are just that. Am I accusing people of anything? No. I say these are allegations and these are what you can derive from the information. But again, I don't say they are for sure and for certain. And this gentleman has been known to put out many accusations on a bunch of people. And that is the reason why he has been sued. He was sued very recently by the president of the Yonkers Police Union. I believe a gentleman by the name of Keith Olson. $17 million lawsuit. Since that lawsuit, there's been a change in the way Hezi has been reporting. His reports have ceased to attack the establishment and seem to have now directed toward the Khader family, specifically Mike Khader. Some of you may not know or may know that it was an article in the Yonkers Tribune written by Mr. Hezi Aris that prompted Ron Matten, Republican candidate at one point for Yonkers City Council, to write a letter to the City Council in regards to a potential quid quo pro situation involving the City Council president and a law firm located at 733 Yonkers Avenue. And while it was already known that the Yonkers Tribune was ruled not to be a legitimate news source and was sued by a Yonkers police officer and president of Yonkers Police Union, a city official, for defamation, for allegations that he made several times in various articles. The city and the city council, I should say, still pursued these allegations against Mr. Khader. Did they not know that a judge determined that he was simply supermarket tabloid? 1 minute, he's supermarket tabloid. The next minute, he is a legitimate source to bring upon an investigation on the city council, a member of your party, Democratic Party, during the primaries. Talk about cutting someone at the knees. And I've mentioned that many times, and I've talked about that. And that is why possibly people have wondered if I've had a Khader connection. Well, no, I did not once speak about Mike Khader or anything involving the investigation brought on by the city council and Inspector General Liam McLaughlin because of any connection with the Khader family. I brought this topic up because it needed to be brought up. It is important for everyone to know. And if you can't see it that way, then you are simply here for rumors and gossip and supermarket tabloid stuff. So I suggest you stay on the Yonkers Tribune because that's not what Freddy Vazquez is about. I'm about truth, and I may not always get it right, but I will correct myself. But my intention is always to bring you the truth. I do investigate, I do research, I do speak to people, I do get sources who provide information and good information many times. People want to see a change here in the city of Yonkers. People are tired of the same old politics. People see right through it, but oftentimes are afraid to speak up. Hezi and the Yonkers Tribune is just a tool, a weapon used by certain individuals to attack those who seek change. It's rather strange that the one person who championed for the housing ordinance, who was very instrumental, was the one person that was attacked, was the one person that did not come back. Now, they are waiting for this gentleman to vacate his seat so that they can fill it in with the new city council president and then draw up a new housing ordinance, which will not be 20%, but most likely 15%. And the credit will go to the new council body. That's the plan. And this is not because I am connected to the Khaders. This is because I want to tell you the plan. Now, Mr. Hezi is aiming his sights at me. Well, I'm going to say this to you, Hezi. I'm not the one. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to be violent. That doesn't mean that I'm going to come hurt you, because I have no intentions to. But if you want to play those games, oh, I can play those games. I prefer that you do your job. Investigate what's important. If you want to look into potential money, crimes, or unethical spending or unethical use of money, why are you not investigating certain elected officials? Why are you targeting a limo car driver and a daycare owner? Two business owners here in the city of Yonkers, two small business owners. There's a lot of people that support me, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. I absolutely am humbled by the compliments and the support and the encouragement, and it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm overwhelmed. I am overwhelmed, and I'm grateful. But this is not about me, and I cannot do this alone. I need others to speak up, and I need the others to be vocal and show your face. It's time for change. It's time to get the dirt out of here. It's time to do right for the people. That doesn't mean that we can't move forward a better Yonkers. That doesn't mean that we can't beautify and bring in new opportunities. We can do that. We can do it with new people, new ideas, fresh faces, people who truly care about the community and who are going to be here for the long haul. We have to think about this. Elections are going to be coming up again. We have to be informed. And that is why Freddy Vazquez brings you basement politics. I want to inform you. That is all. I'm not trying to persuade you. I'm not trying to encourage you to change your mind. I'm simply trying to present you information. What you do with that information, that's on you. So you can listen to the supermarket tabloids if you want. Or you can be a part of the change that's coming to the city of Yonkers. For everybody. Doesn't matter what side you live on. I have spoken with John Khader. And he wants to support candidates who want to bring change, who are not afraid to go up against the quote unquote machine. So when I play the song from Freddy Krueger, doesn't mean I'm coming for you to harm you physically. Not that big of a guy. I may be tall, but I don't even think I'm that tall. But I am coming for you. You came for me. I wasn't bothering anyone. Before this, did anyone know Freddy Vazquez? You came for me. I'm coming for you. And we're going to do some change. So if anyone has questions regarding my relationship with John Khader or anyone, or questions about anything, now is the time. Here is the opportunity. Ask me. Am I crazy? Well, I guess you're going to have to find out. But here's your opportunity. So I'll take questions and I don't get offended. And when I play things like this,
Freddy wins. Fatality.
don't be alarmed. It's only a sound effect. It's a show. So Mr. Hezzy, again, if you choose to come for me, be prepared. Or you can continue to do what you do, mind your business, and let me do what I do. Because I'm going to continue to do what I do. You are doing a great job, Freddy. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I get a lot of that. I do. I get a lot of that. And I do it for the right reasons. I don't need money. I don't need a job. And not because I got all this money. Because I'm living like a regular average person. For the most part. I do. Okay? I was able to do some smart things early on in life. Put some money away. Plan for the future. Now, I'm do this for my community. I didn't want to be one of those people that got his stuff together, left, and forgot where I came from. Life is not just about making money. It's not just about getting another job, a position, a higher position. That's not what life is about. Trust me, I know. I've chased it for so long. And what had happened in the end? I came to realize that everything I thought I wanted, I didn't want. I didn't want. What matters to me is helping people, seeing others win, seeing others succeed, not bringing people down. And we need to all think that way, especially us, Latinos and Yonkers. I don't care if you're Dominican, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Cuban, whatever Ben you is. Doesn't matter. And we must all get along, whether you're white, Irish, Italian, Puerto Rican, black. And we have to understand that we all truly want the same thing. Do we not? Good schools for our kids, safe communities, affordable housing, programs, after school, daycares that people can afford. That's all we want. And we all want it. Doesn't matter what color you are. Doesn't matter what side of town you live on. So again, that's why I do what I do. And if anyone has questions, ask me. Ask me. Oh, actually, I do have one question. Would you consider running for office to make change? It's people have asked that question. Believe it or not, I've had elected officials have asked me if I was interested in people from both parties. Asked if I was interested in running. You know, I I I I, I wouldn't do that because I wanted. If I were to run for office, I would want to do it for it has to be for the right reasons. It's an important job. It's not something I'm not looking to say, hey, look at me. I'm so and so city council or mayor or whoever whoever whatever position just I just want to see the right people there, whether that's, in the capacity of just supporting people, the right people, and getting involved in the community, in that aspect, which I enjoy very much. That's where, that's what I'll do. If for some reason God says, hey, Freddie, this is where you belong, then whatever, that's what I would do too. But it's going to always be about making sure that we're doing the right thing. I'm doing the right thing for the community. And that's what I want to see. But I would always say no because I not that's not my goal. But someone said, "Don't say that because you never know, and then you look like a hypocrite." You never know, And God is what drives me. So what God wants is what God, will have. So, thank you for that question. I get that kind of often. Exact reasons I left Yonkers. The corruption is too much and is accepted by lower class community. I support you. Thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, there's an element in our society and specifically in our within our Hispanic group that people they get theirs, they're at a certain level and they kind of close the door behind them, and that's not okay to me. It's not okay to me. It's not okay to close the door behind you once you get in. It's not, and I always look to support people and show people how to, even do what I did. I give people the opportunity to start at the position that I started at 10 years ago, to get to where I'm at today. I said, this is where I started. If you hustle hard too, it changed my life. So, but I don't close the door behind me. I look to show people and help people. But unfortunately, some people get to a point and some people just truly enjoy that life. They want to be those in that crowd. Look at me, I'm so and so. And that's corny to me. But that's I'm not judging. I don't want to judge, but there's people that like that, and they want to be exclusive. And so I don't support that or respect that. And I think that that has to change. And a lot of members in the community who say that they're for the people, I'm always keep it real, are truly for themselves by their actions, right? And I'm just saying, just what you're doing is by your actions. It doesn't seem like that's all the way true when you say that you're for the community because your actions say something different. So, I'm just pointing it out, because I don't, don't do that to people. You have a position and you have a certain authority or certain power and you have a certain ability and you toy with people. That's not okay with me. So, I'm going to be speaking about that in the next season of Basement Politics, and some people may be concerned about what I might be saying, and that's another thing that they've expressed to certain individuals. Hey, are you behind Freddy Vazquez? Why is he saying some of these things? Well, I'm saying them because they're true, because they need to be said. And if you don't want that to be said, then don't make that be what it is. I mean, you finally. I'm somebody. I see things, and I'm gonna call it out. And I'm gonna call it out. And some people just don't like that. And now again, they're using someone like the Yonkers Tribune to try to attack John Khader because they believe that he is sponsoring me. I haven't gotten a check, a dollar from John Khader. He has helped out with my nonprofit. He did donate ham, cheese, turkey, bread. What else did you, John? Are you watching, John? If you did, well, what else did you get? And he also helped me by bringing a slicer to help me slice the meat. And then he also or his sister donated some gloves for homeless because they know that I go out to hand out lunches to the homeless. So they said you can hand these out while you give out your lunches because it's getting cold. That's nothing wrong with that. I've been spending most of the money. Money's coming from my pocket. So it's nice to have someone to help me. I've reached out to many elected officials and told them what we do. And I don't hear nothing back. If, I'm helping the community. I'm doing things for the community. Why are you not, reaching out to us? Saying, hey, I hear you're doing a toy drive. Let me come by and drop off some toys. I got support initially until they started to hear basement politics. They said, wait a minute, we can't support that guy. I don't like what he's saying. And look, I'm not here to make enemies, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to call it like I see it. Just do stuff for the people. Stop toying with the people, or work with me. I already made that offer to you. Work with me. Give me the support, the resources that you give other organizations, because I'll show you what I could do. I'll show you what I could do. Trust me. Give me the same support and resources that you give other organizations, Yonkers, City of Yonkers, talking to you. I'll show you what I could do. I'll show you what I could do. Okay? We'll see some real stuff happening for the kids out here. Some real stuff. Okay? So, and that's all I'm looking for. So that's what I'm looking to do. And I appreciate the support of the Khader family, and anything that I've ever spoken about regards to the investigation regarding the Khader family. That's only because that needed to be said. That needed to be said. That's news. It's information. It's important. It's important that you know what's happening politically and why things are happening the way they happen. I'm hearing a name come up a lot also. A name by the name of, Zahi Jarris. I'm sorry, I almost forgot it. Zahi Jarris. From my understanding, he may be the one that's putting pressure on Hezi from the Yonkers Tribune. You have to understand, they suing this guy and they won, I believe. The judge ruled he's not a legitimate news source. So now they got him. They got him where they want him. So now he's a tool and he has to be used. So you can't, whatever this guy puts out, you have to also understand that, that people go on there to throw dirt and gossip and spread rumors in the comment section, which is why he allows people to do it anonymously. So it's junk. It's junk. It's junk. Actions speak louder than words. People see me in the community. Okay. I don't have to speak about it. They see me out there. So actions speak louder than words. Okay. Did you hear any response from sanitation discussing mess left? No, they didn't respond. They never respond to me. They just go and do it. They just go do and clean it up. But they don't usually let me know that. I meant to go by today, but I wasn't able to. But it is disgusting. And the gentleman's making reference to the video and the pictures I posted up yesterday of the mess, the garbage that's usually left in that particular area of Yonkers. And it's specifically like that area, Hamilton, Elliott Avenue, where the fire was on Christmas night. And that was along Riverdale Avenue there. And it's disgusting and it smells really bad. So hopefully they'll see that, and maybe they can look. I'm just saying, figure something out so that doesn't happen, because it's a common problem. I just don't get why we can't get that worked out. I mean, it's a simple solution, I'm sure. Simple solution. Is it the building, the property management? Get them on it. Make sure that they wrap those bags up right before they put them out, and make sure that the sanitation guys, put them in there. Because, they don't do that where I live. My garbages are not in the middle of the street on the floor sideways after they leave. That's for sure. That's for sure. So That's not cool. So it's not a color thing because I'm Puerto Rican and they still give me the respect. It's a class thing, folks. It's a money thing. It's about money, you know. So the negative comments were disgusting. Yes. And what he's referring to is that there were a couple of people who posted or made comments in that video saying that I should go get a broom and clean it up. Now, how do I take that? Is it because I'm Latino and I'm supposed to be doing janitorial work, which I have? I've cleaned toilets, I've cleaned urinals, and I've, you know, emptied out trash compactors that had that same juice that's on that floor in the street dripping out of it. So I've been there, done that. Doesn't scare me. I would have grabbed a broom. However, a broom wasn't going to be sufficient. Smart person. Okay. And the point was I was showing and making people aware. Most people just drove by. Everybody else just drove by. So, and then they blame the people in that area. So we know the mentality of the individuals that made that comment, right? They said the people there shouldn't throw their trash out there in the street. It's like if people just went out there and dumped their garbage right there on the street. That's not what they did, right? There was trash pickup day, and that was the mess that was left after the trash people came, the sanitation department. And I'm not blaming them either. I'm just saying, someone get together, people get together and just solve that because it's not cool. I think about the kids that walk by there and what they have to see and what does that do to them, right? To their self-esteem when they say, I live in a community, I live on a neighborhood where we're literally our trash. They treat us like trash, right? It stunk so bad. And I would hate for that to be what a kid thinks when they come out. That's just damaging for that kid mentally, psychologically. And I know because I was that kid, and so I understand that very well. It definitely lowers your self-esteem a lot, and it makes you feel less than, when you go around other people who don't live in that community. So that has to stop, and that's part of the psychological effects that kids are impacted with in that community, that they grow up to be adults who deal with trauma. So we have to think about that also when we talk about schools and programs and things like that for the community and kids. We also have to think about the trash that's left on the floor and what that does to them. So I didn't want to get steer too far from that, but I just get very passionate about that. I'm sorry. So anyway, I just wanted to come on real quick and talk about that. It's almost 40 minutes, so that to me was it's pretty much a good long enough show. But again, I wanted to get ahead of this article that he already has on his Yonkers Tribune, but you can only read it if you're a subscriber. Most people don't pay for the trash, so he will be releasing it to the public after January 3rd. So and you can tell that there is someone pumping behind him. And again, going back to the name Zahi that I keep hearing. So, I'm hearing that person is behind Hezi and the Yonkers Tribune and pushing him to do this. Hey, Zahi, I got to look into that. I know there's something there with Nick Spano, but I haven't gone into that deeply. But I will be. I look into everything. So, listen, people, I appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Basement Politics is really progress and evolve to something that I didn't think it would. And, I may not get 5,000-10,000 views like the Yonkers Voice, but I haven't been around 10, 15 years. But, we'll get there. And with your support and your continued support, I will. And the reason that I want that many, views and stuff is because I want more and more people to be informed. It's very important, especially during the elections. I want to bring you important information, important news. So when you go to the polls, you make the right decision. The right decision, the right people get in there. So that's why I do it. Yeah. Do you feel the way YouTube censor your comment is more than community guidelines? Absolutely. And he's talking about YouTube censored my video I did where I had my daughter, where we spoke about the Nuremberg Code and the Declaration of Helsinki. Those are two documents that were created to guide medical professionals when conducting medical experiments on human beings. The Nuremberg codes came about after World War II and the Nuremberg trials, which were the trials that the Nazis were put on for war crimes. They were doing experiments on the on other humans, obviously on the Jews and others, not just Jews, but a lot of people. And so once they went on trial, then after those trials, they came up with these Nuremberg codes to kind of give a guideline of what not to do when conducting medical experimentation on human subjects, because they feel that they do understand that medical experimentation on human subjects is necessary. However, there are guidelines to do it in a humane way. So I just went over the Nuremberg codes, and then there's a document called the Declaration of Helsinki, which came out after, in the 60s, after the Nuremberg codes, which is now the cornerstone document. You know, it's kind of the go-to document when it comes to human experimentation in medical, medical science and stuff like that. And so that was censored, so they took that video down. And I didn't understand why, because I'm basically just reading off facts. This is a real documents. These are real documents, historical documents, and guidelines that, you know, you're supposed to kind of go by. So, you know, the Nazi type of experiments don't occur again. But apparently that doesn't matter anymore. Because one of the two of them, really quick, not to go crazy, but two of them, the guidelines state that we should never have our free choice taken away, which has been, right? Our rights and our health supersede science and society. So meaning that if it could potentially kill us, then we have a right to opt out and say, no, we don't want it. It doesn't matter if it's to benefit society or we think it's going to help society, that the individual subject is more important than society as a whole. They shouldn't have to risk their life if they don't want to. Right? If they volunteer, that's another thing. So, you know, it was taken down, which I think is crazy. That's basically like reading the Declaration of Independence on my podcast, and they say, oh, that goes against our community guidelines and standards and all that. So that's just the world we live in. You know, we got to start waking up. And I want to tie it to local politics, right? Let's bring that back to local, because people keep saying, Freddy, you be all over the place. Yeah, I got a lot of information. I do. I got a lot of stuff. But to bring it back to Yonkers and what this, you know, censorship is doing to this comment, that is showing the power of elite and how much control they have and what they can do, and you know, how they manipulate social media to create a certain narrative, which is what they're doing with the Yonkers Tribune, in order to create a certain narrative about whoever, whether it be, you know, Johnny Limo, John Khader, me, or whoever the Yonkers Tribune has written about Mike Khader specifically, because it did a lot of damage to Mike Khader. That article and that letter that was sent to the Yonkers City Council damaged his whole re-election campaign. It just ruined it, destroyed him. It did. And not just his campaign, but it also destroyed, you know, his morale, you know, destroyed, you know, almost destroyed him as a person. I mean, to have to go through that in your family, to have to go through that, his wife received text messages. Like that's, and I'm the crazy one? Who paid almost $100,000, I hear, to fund the nasty text, robo-text and robocalls and the mailers and all that were sent to neighbors about Mike Khader? That's crazy. That's psychotic. You know, and so yet, Hezi, you're not investigating that. And from what I understand, you know, there's a committee out there called the Committee for Better Yonkers. And you know, they put out some negative stuff. And I showed that. They put out some negative stuff about Mike Khader. Right. And this is supposed to be a Democratic committee, which was, you know, started by a woman whose husband is on the Board of Ethics here in Yonkers. So these are the things that I'm bringing to you, that I'm informing the people about, that they don't want me to do. So that's why they are looking to ways to attack me. That's why they're trying to hurt my business. That's why I went a little nuts in the building department. Not too nuts. I mean, I wasn't that crazy, was I? Right? But I'm trying to make a point, Yonkers. I need you to follow me, support me, because this affects everybody. You know, and there's a gentleman who just bought a business, right, on School Street, and now the building department is giving him problems. Why? Because they want him to pay to play. He doesn't have the money. He's a small business owner. He put everything he had into this business. Now they want him to do a new roof, new floors, a ramp in front of his business. He doesn't have the money. It wasn't a problem before when the previous owner had the business. And I mentioned who the previous owner was on a recent podcast. So go back and check that out. So these are the things that I'm looking to talk about. And I'm going to continue to talk about, and some people are concerned. And by the way, I went to the church, St. Andrews, over on Post and Elliott. That is where they are accepting donations for the people who lost their home and lost everything in the fire on Elliott Avenue. Horrible. I was there. They have a lot of clothes. They do. I saw it. It's a lot. It's probably enough for a whole block, the whole entire block of Elliott. But that's awesome, and that just shows what Yonkers is all about. They are looking maybe for some monetary donations. Maybe they can help buy some other things. They're going to need furniture. They're going to need televisions. They're going to need other things like that, that they need to buy. So they're looking for that. But I was over there because I dropped off hats, gloves, and socks, stuff for the winter. I did see Lorraine Lopez. Shout out to Lorraine Lopez. And I want to say, Lorraine, I was very surprised. And if you're watching, I was very surprised that you were, anticipating my show today. Lorraine said to me, hey, I'm looking forward to watching your show tonight, Latinos and Yonkers Part 2. Unfortunately, I rescheduled that one for the coming year. That's going to be part of season 3. And I said, oh, yeah, thank you. No, I'm not going to do it tonight. I wasn't planning on coming on tonight either. But the fact that she knew of the show tonight and everything, I'm honored. I'm honored, Lorraine. I'm very humbled. I am that you knew of the show, the title, when it was coming on. That was dope. I'm very humbled by that. That's dope. That's very dope. So thank you for that. But I did see Lorraine Lopez, so shout out to Lorraine Lopez. She's very involved in the community as well. Anyway, so any more questions? Going once, going twice. So to the gentleman in the black polo sweater, thank you, folks, for joining me again. Remember, I'm not part or paid for by the caterers. They have not written me a check. They have supported in the Feed the Need program, and I'm looking for more support, more sponsors, and more volunteers. There is no cater connection other than I know them, and I have for a long time. They've known my family for a long time. But that means absolutely nothing. The family connections that are in the city in terms of jobs is way more interesting and worth investigating, Hezzy, if you want to look into something. Anytime I've ever spoken about the Caters, it's been in regards to the investigation of Mike Khader, the Yonkers City Council president. But I've only spoken facts because I want to bring you the facts, truth, and make you aware of what's happening here in the city of Hills, where nothing is on the level. I'm Freddy Vazquez. That's Basement Politics. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed night. Happy New Year.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
No!
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddy Vazquez.
Freddy wins. Fatality.